The Christie Cleek. The Legend of Andrew Christie. Presented by myself, Andrew Christie. The Christie Cleek, or the Christie of the Cleek, was a legendary Scottish cannibal, a legend overshadowed by the better-known Sawney legend. According to legend, his real name was Andrew Christie, a butcher from Perth in Scotland. During a severe famine in the mid-14th century, straight after the Great Plague, a person named Hector Boyce recorded floods, murrain, and plagues, labelled as mice and rashness. The plagues were throughout Scotland in 1340. It is said that Andrew Christie joined a group of scavengers in the foothills of the Grampians. When one of the party died of starvation, Mr. Christie put his butcher skills to work and provided his companions with a ready meal. The group developed the taste for human flesh, as under Christie's leadership, they began to ambush travellers in the passes of the Grampians, feeding on their bodies and upon their horses. It is alleged that before attacking, Christie would haul his victims with a hook on his rod. This implement was the cleek, for example, the shepherd's crook. It is said that around 30 riders met their fate in the hands of Mr. Christie. Eventually, the company was defeated by an armed force from Perth, except for Mr. Christie himself, who supposedly escaped and re-entered society under a new name. The earliest versions of this narrative are much less detailed, recording only Christie's cannibalism and his methods for trapping prey. No mention is made of his accomplices or eventual fate, so Mr. Christie was not defeated by the armed force from Perth. Cheviot's Proverbs from 1896 mentions some folklore about the character, who came to be known as the Bugbear or the Boogeyman, the personification of the devil. Andy Christie, Christie derived from Christ. Alternatively, the Dogman of Canaan, the Anointed One, or the Afflicted. And that would be the source for this demonization of the Pict clan Christie. In Cheviot's Proverbs, the Boogeyman, it is said that they resorted to cannibalism at the instigation of their leader, Andrew Christie, a Perth butcher. This monster laid in wait for passing horsemen and dragged them from their saddle with a large iron hook fixed to a long pole, hence his nickname, the Christie Cleek. It is said that Christie Cleek died many years after, as a married man and a prosperous merchant. For centuries afterward, the mere mention of the word Christie Cleek was sufficient to silence the noisiest children. The reason I say this is a demonization of the Christie clan is quite simple. A new myth arises under a completely different name. The parallels between the Christie Cleek and the Sawney legend are obvious and insistent. One story may have given rise to the other, or both may have been derived from a common source. While Bean far exceeds his counterpart in terms of notoriety, the Christie legend does appear to be older. Tales of the Bean family do not appear before the 18th century, the very same time where the nobility were rewriting the mythology of Britain. But Mr. Christie's exploits are documented from the 15th century onwards. For instance, Andrew of Wintoun's Original Chronicle of Scotland in 1420 refers to a figure called Cleek. During a time of, say, great default, the money were in hunger dead, set up traps with the intent, children and women, for to slay, and ate them all, that he get might. A little later, in an entry for 1341, Holinshed's Chronicles 1577 reports, in the same year, that some do right, or according unto other. In the year following, there was such a miserable death, both through England and Scotland, that people were driven to eat flesh of horses, dogs, cats, and such unused kinds of meat to sustain their languishing lives withal. Yea, insomuch that, as is said, there was a Scottish man, an uplandish fellow named Christie Cleek, spared not to steal children and end women, on whose flesh he fed, as if he had been a wolf. Well, I do say I've been reincarnated. Make of that what you will.